Hi, welcome. My name is Erica Kafka. I am a physician assistant and a yoga therapist. I'm here today to share with you a breath practice, also known as a pranayama or pranayama in the world of yoga. This particular breath practice is called C-IYAT. It means equal waves. So the word sama is equal and vriti means waves. So what we're looking at doing is creating a smooth and equal wave between the inhale and the exhale. We're also looking at creating an equal wave, not only between the inhale and the exhale, but also between the pauses that happen naturally between the inhale and the exhale. Most of us go through life breathing, and we're not even actually consciously aware of our breath. So one of the things that breath practices do for us is they start to bring us into awareness of our own breath. They deepen the relationship with our breath and how the body works with the breath, and how our breath, our body, and our mind work together. The breath is one of the most important tools that we can use as a self-care tool. Particularly in this space and time we are at now, where we're really being challenged to understand our own fears, our own stress, and to relate to those fears and stresses of the global collective. Being able to access a tool such as breath can be really helpful, not only from an emotional standpoint, from a mind standpoint, but also from a physical standpoint. When we become in tune with and in touch with our breath, and we're able to begin to increase our capacity for breath, so we can increase the amount that we inhale and increase the amount we exhale, what we're actually doing is a little mini workout, if you will, for our respiratory system. And the respiratory system is the system right now that is essentially under attack with the particular virus, COVID-19. And so we want to be able to strengthen our respiratory system to get our lungs working at a capacity, a really full capacity, be able to breathe in and breathe out, to be able to move and exchange the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, to allow the oxygen to move freely within our body and be exchanged well between the tissues. Increasing our lung capacity allows us to gain a little bit more control or understanding of the musculature around and associated with the respiratory system. So one of the biggest muscles that's used in respiration is the diaphragm. It's the muscle that sits underneath the rib cage. It's sort of sometimes described as like a parachute, if you will. When you breathe, that diaphragm moves down and moves up. So as we practice breath practice, we strengthen our diaphragm, which allows us to in turn strengthen the capacity of the lungs. And when we have good lung capacity, good air movement, that actually translates into a healthier ability to regulate heart rate, to regulate blood pressure, to help us to find a better relationship with stress and anxiety, and to also help us sometimes even feel more uplifted when we might be feeling down. So this particular practice that we're doing here today is going to work to balance body and mind. It's going to help us to find balance and a sense of ground in ourselves. Now, a couple of pointers with this breath. As a beginner, if you've never held your breath, or it's often referred to as retaining the breath, there is a word that we use called kumbhaka. It can actually be a little bit more anxiety producing. So I want to welcome you to when the time comes to hold or retain the breath, you certainly do not have to do that. You can just equalize the inhale and then go straight to the exhale and then go back to the inhale. Let the pause happen naturally without any effort into that. If you are pregnant, it is advised to allow the inhales and the inhales and exhales to be equal. Again, no breath retention. If you have high blood pressure or difficulties with increased pressures maybe in the ear or in the eye, or some difficulty with increased pressure in the lungs, or maybe there's some fibrotic changes in the lungs, again, holding and retaining the breath is not necessarily recommended. So go ahead and just breathe equally through the inhale and then exhale and just move through the retention. Good. So the way this breath works is we're going to start with a 4 count. So the pattern is as follows. We'll take an inhale and then we'll exhale for 4 counts, and the count will be like this. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Then we'll hold the exhale out. Again, it'll be hold, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll inhale, and it'll go inhale, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll hold for 3, 2, 1. So when I say inhale and hold, exhale and hold, those count as 1 count. Again, if retaining the breath does not work or does not feel comfortable or just isn't settling with you today, you skip that and you just keep going at your own count. The other thing with this particular breath practice is that if the 4 count is just a little too much, you can always back off. Do 3 or maybe 2. If 1 is where you're at, 1 is where you're at. Always meet yourself where you're at, honor your body, and honor the feelings that are coming up. And remember, it's always okay at any point in time to just visualize. If actually doing the practice and inhaling and exhaling like that or holding the breath like that isn't really working, you can simply just think about it. Think about inhaling for a few counts and holding the breath while not actually doing it. Visualization is just as powerful as the actual practice itself. For those of you that may want an extra layer, so if you feel comfortable as you start to get the pattern of the inhales, the holds, the exhales, and the holds, there's a reason that it's also called box breath, because you can visualize a box. So you'll start at, it doesn't really matter where you start, but let's say we start in a downward motion. So we exhale, think of coming down, and then you'll hold, think of going across, and then you'll inhale, think of going up, and then as you hold, you come across, and then you go exhale down, if that works for you. You certainly don't have to layer in the visualization, but it's nice if you can and you'd like to. Good, so let's begin the practice now. From wherever you're at, start to soften. Settle into the body just a little bit more. And as you begin to soften into the space of your own body, just bring some awareness to the breath. Notice how the breath pattern feels now. Maybe you notice the length of the inhale. And then notice your exhales. And as you become aware of the breath, starting to align the breath, the body, and the mind together, Notice the subtle shift that starts to take place. Sense the calm and the quiet beginning to arise. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose. And then open the mouth, exhale, let the breath out. Again, inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale out. Good, beautiful. Now inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. One more time, inhaling through the nose. And gently exhaling through the nose. And we'll begin now with 5 rounds of C-IYAT. Inhale. And then exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. And now continue on your own count for 5 more rounds. Use the count that works for you. If the retention is creating anxiety, discomfort, a sense of overwhelm, let the retention go and just breathe in for the same count as you're breathing out for the same count. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. If the nasal breath is a little difficult or not accessible, you can always breathe through the mouth for either the inhale or the exhale. And as you come to your final round, just allow the breath to begin to return to a normal breath pattern, whatever feels good and right for the breath and the body now. There's no effort necessary. And we'll complete today's practice by taking together a deep inhalation. And then open the mouth, exhale, let it all out. And just spend a moment or two here in the new awareness of where your body and your mind are. Sensing into that subtle shift from when we first started until now. Honoring yourself. Loving yourself. And finding grace in all that you are and all that you do.